everyone, it's Tanika and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be comparing the Chi Chi Spices palette to see if it is a dupe for the Anastasia, okay, not a good start. To see if it is a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. So these are the two palettes here, and from a glance they look very similar because they both have them goldy and pink and orangey and brown kind of shades in them. So today I'm going to be swatching the similar shades for you and then letting you know my thoughts on if I think it is a dupe or not. Just starting out with a little information on each palette. The ABH palette retails for around 60 Australian dollars once converted from US if you're buying from the Anastasia site, or you can also pick it up from Beauty Bay if you wanted to pick up lots of other brands at the same time. This palette comes with a total of 14 shades, 11 of them are matte and 3 of them are metallic. And this palette also comes with a dual-ended brush, so that's pretty nifty. So then the Chi Chi palette retails for $22.95 and you can pick this up from Target or Maya. I find both of them stores are always having sales on Chi Chi as well, so you can usually pick it up for like 30 to 40% off, so that's the time to shop. This palette comes with a total of 12 shades. 4 of them are matte and the other 8 are either metallic or shimmer shades. Now I have gone through the palettes and found some shades that are pretty comparable, so I'm going to swatch them all for you and let you know my thoughts. For reference, I'm going to be using the names on the ABH palette, and for the Chi Chi I'm just going to be using numbers because it doesn't come with names or anything like that to identify the shades. So my color describing vocabulary is not the best, so bear with me as I try and explain these shades. The first shades that I'm going to compare, I can't even talk, oh my god. The first shades I'm going to compare are Rilga and shade number 5. So these are both matte shades, and although they look very similar in the pan, the Chi Chi shade is swatching a lot deeper. It has more of a deep orange undertone rather than the muted orange undertone from the Rilga shade. Next are the shades Vermeer compared to shade number 1. So both of these shades are metallic, but the Chi Chi one is definitely more golden, whereas the ABH one is described more as an iridescent shell. Next on the list is Red Ochre and number 7. Now these two are swatching very, very different. The Chi Chi shade is coming off more of a warm, deep brown with absolutely no red in it. But they are both matte finishes, so there's some similarity, I guess. So Burnt Orange and shade number 2 are next, so come on down. I just had a little bit of a Price is Right moment then, so let me just... So these both have a matte finish and make really good crease and transition colours, but the Chi Chi shade is a little darker and has more of a brown undertone, whereas the ABH shade is more orange. Next on the list is Antique Bronze and shade number 11. These two shades are both metallic and look very similar in the pan, but the Chi Chi shade is coming off a lot darker than the ABH. Then last on the list is Cypress Umber and number 10. So the first noticeable difference between these two shades is that Cypress Umber is a matte and shade number 10 has pink glitter through it. It took me a couple of swipes to get this, so the colour payoff isn't very good. So overall, and in my opinion, I do not think that the Chi Chi palette is a dupe for the Anastasia palette. As you just saw, I was only able to find 6 shades that were even close enough to compare. There are a few more shades in the palettes that are similar, but the finish of them and the undertone of them are just too different. For example, there are 2 gold shimmer shades in the Chi Chi palette, but they are a lot darker and have more of a rose gold undertone to them, whereas the gold in the Anastasia palette is a lot lighter. There are also pinks in both of the palettes. The 2 in the Anastasia palette are matte, and the one in the Chi Chi palette is an iridescent finish. So to compare the formulas of these shadows, I was still pretty impressed with the Chi Chi ones, especially the shimmer and metallic shades. They come off so pigmented and are actually really buttery and smooth. They are definitely up there with the ABH ones for sure. But as for the mattes, they weren't as good as the ABH shadows. The pigmentation wasn't as good, and it did take a couple of swipes in the palette to get a decent swatch. And from experience using this palette, I do know that the mattes take a little bit more love to blend them out as nicely. If you are on a budget though, I would definitely recommend the Chi Chi palette. It has a good range of colors that are similar to the ABH palette, and you can still create a whole heap of different looks. I also think that the newer Chi Chi Glamorous palettes have definitely improved on the older ones. I think their formula is nicer, and overall I'm pretty happy with the color selection. But in my opinion, if you can, I would definitely save your money up and get the Anastasia palette. I prefer this one more than the Chi Chi palette because number one, it has more matte shades, so I find it's a bit more versatile with looks. And number two, the matte formula is a lot better than the Chi Chi ones, so easier to blend out, easier to work with. And also it comes with a brush, so you know. Or there is another option where you just buy both. You know, like that Mexican ad, Te tiro gestos, whatever she says. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Oh, I need to learn how to speak. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video is what I was trying to say, and it helped you in some way. I'm going to put some full swatches of each palette at the end of this video, so stay tuned if you'd like to see that. Come follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. I will put my name on the screen below, and it'll also be in the description box. I've also been using Instagram's version of Snapchat for more beauty related things because it, you know, goes with my Instagram. So go check those out. I'm going to be uploading 2 videos a week from now on. So if you'd like to see all of that, then subscribe to my channel and like my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.